The Unhappy Hour on TheNewAmericanMedia.com.
First off,
I'm a big fan of Darius Garland. I have been for a while now. He's got a lot of potential. He's got a sky-high ceiling. The Cavaliers obviously thought enough of him to, pair him with Colin Sexton. It wasn't the one thing I love about the Cavs draft. They took the guy with the highest potential in the draft with the highest ceiling, and they didn't mind that they already had a point guard on the roster. Don't forget, the Cavaliers did the exact opposite in 2012 with Deion Waiters when they already had Kyrie Irving on the roster and didn't take Damian Lillard, who was a far superior player to Deion Waiters, but they didn't want to mesh and, they were afraid of pairing the two together. So This gives you in the perspective where the Cavs are right now. I'm not saying that Colin Sexton is a top-tier point guard. I'm not saying that at all. But it just shows no matter what they think of Sexton, it just shows you what they think of Darius Garland here. They took the player with the highest ceiling in the draft with the number 5 pick who was available. They didn't take a guy who caps out low. They took a guy with a really high ceiling. That's why I like the pick.
No, I'm very okay with that. And I mean, weren't you saying that you could see? I don't know. Maybe I'm confusing you because I have so many conversations about these topics. But were you saying that you could see Colin operating a little bit more of a shooting guard and having Garland more of a point guard? How do you see it playing out specifically? Do you see him?
I think I could see that. Yes, I could see that. I could see them doing. I could see them with Sexton at the 2 guard. It all depends. Both of them are technically undersized to be 2 guards, so it'll be kind of different. They have a lot of point guards in this roster. Jordan Clarkson, I do expect to be moved relatively soon.
Oh.
Just because I'm not saying he will be moved, but here's the thing: he's in the final year of his contract. He'll have value in a trade. Expect the Cavaliers to grab picks for him and trade him and move them while they can. And take on another bad contract conceivably to land some extra picks. That's all I'm saying.
You think he could fetch you a late first-round pick, maybe?
I think he could fetch a first-rounder. It also depends what you take in a trade. Him on his own, is he just going to get that? Probably not. If you're willing to take a decently bad contract back or a contract with an extra year that's not expiring, then yes, I would.
And can you talk for a second about the Cavaliers' cap status? I'm seeing these reports, and it just looks like we are paying a lot of money to have a bad team.
They are, but they're doing it so they can acquire assets. It's the same thing they did in 2010. You don't need the cap room. You're not planning on signing anyone right now anyway. So, you're going for asset based until you can really hit the free agency market in 2 to 3 years.
So you don't think we have any interest in the free agency market? We're just not at that phase of the rebuild.
No, they're not at that stage right now. You're still in a rebuild. You still want to have a top 10 pick next year. Mm-hmm. You still want to suck.
Right.
Again, the NBA, the Cavaliers can easily get themselves into purgatory. That's not where they want to be, though. It's you want to build the model that a Milwaukee built or a Philadelphia built or even Boston, amassing draft picks, trading older talent while you can. That's not going to get you anywhere, and that's the move you need to make.
Right. Yeah, and that does make sense for sure. And then as far as the other assets that we have. Do you see any other players that might be moved? I mean, you think Tristan, JR, if you were guessing?
I think you'll see J.R. Smith move, but I think the time to move him was on draft night, so I don't know if it's as plausible now. Mm-hmm. But I still can see him being moved.
Okay. Well, we'll see how it works out with Darius Garland and going to the Cavaliers. You were saying before the draft you were hoping he would be there at 5. And I guess in hindsight, do you think that trade opened up the possibility that Garland would be there, or do you think if the Pelicans had picked, he might have come off the board? If you were just throwing darts and guessing, I guess, because you're trying to get.
The Pelicans already have Drew Holiday, and they also have they've got Drew, and they have Lonzo Ball on the roster. So I'm not sure they would have taken him.
Right.
I think that's why they made the trade.
Because they liked him, and just it didn't make sense for him. So you might as well acquire more assets.
It's the Unhappy Hour.